Hey guys. Um thank you guys for being here. Hey Muffin Top, hey Pink Dahlia, hey Vicky, hey Nady, Johnny, Brenda, Pointer Lover. Thank you. Hey Lisa, Nikki Rex, Jameson, Not So Basic Brooke. Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and bring Theresa up. Thank you guys for being here. I'm so excited. Hello.
Yay!
Hey.
Hi everybody.
Thank you for coming. I am so excited for you to be here. Thank
Oh,
you.
I am so excited. Thank you so much for having me.
Of course. I'm going to start bringing you back all the time.
Just like I said, hi everybody.
I see a lot of people that I know that are usually in your chat too in here. Hold on one second. Sorry. Yeah, you guys, mom life, you know how it is, but
Sure. Wouldn't trade it though. Little pain in the butts, but I love them to pieces.
Yeah, wouldn't trade it for nothing. Can you imagine how boring life would be without?
I don't even know what I would be doing. I have no idea what my life would even be like if I hadn't had kids.
Mine wouldn't be pretty. I can tell you that right now, but
yeah, they're definitely like the best thing.
Yeah, they just make you, I don't know, they make you see the world in a different way. Totally. Hey, Dave.
Hi, Dave.
I'm so excited, you guys, for Theresa. I'm just going to go through and ask you a couple little questions for people who don't know you, and then we'll get into talking about some cases that are happening now, in the past, all that stuff. Jin Lu, and I am so bored. Oh my gosh.
You can come visit, and then you can see all of our little ones.
Yeah. Come and be Auntie Jin Lu.
Auntie Jin Lu.
So for those of you guys who don't know who Theresa is, which I'm sure most of you do, but if you don't, Theresa, can you kind of describe yourself and your channel?
Oh, goodness gracious. Okay. Well, I'm Theresa S., which was probably what most people probably know me as up until recently. I was Theresa S. I was part of another channel for a couple years, and then recently, beginning of this year, kind of broke off and now have my own channel, CriminaliTy, where I talk about true crime and all things happening with true crime. And I get to have people like the lovely Allie come on, and Jen Lu, and some other awesome people come and hang out and talk true crime cases with me.
Yeah, I am so happy that you started your channel. I really, really am. I think a lot of people are happy. They're like, and also there was like this teaser moment where we thought it was coming, and then it didn't for a minute, and then finally when it did, yeah.
Life was a bit of an emotional roller coaster for a while after that. So, it was the first to talk to Allie, Hunter's mom. Yep.
I could see that because any kind of anything in life, when you get a new job, when you get anything like that, it's hard. You got that transition. Yeah, she was with Unmasked. So let me think. So if you could describe yourself in three words that describe you, what would you use?
Honest, funny, maybe. I think I'm funny, at least. Not maybe nobody else does, but I think I am. No. I'm a hard worker. I would say, I work hard on everything I do. I overly put things on my plate, so my plate is typically over full, and then I have to try to figure that out.
Yeah, I do the same thing. It's like, oh my God, all day, every day is like one thing after another, but that's kind of it's fun that way. If not, it's boring. Vanessa J said you are funny.
Hey, Vanessa, hi, I miss you, Vanessa.
She actually said, I miss you. That was another comment.
Oh, hi. So yeah. It's interesting because, I don't do a lot of, what do you call it, like promotion and stuff for the channel. It's just kind of me and Christine, who does a lot of the, she does all the graphic, I shouldn't say a lot. She does all the graphic design for the channel, comes on and helps out with the cases. And then Michelle, who's under the weather, comes on and helps discuss the cases, does a lot of the research. And then I have, an amazing, mod team who looks at cases and just, hangs out and helps wrench and takes care of the chat. And I'm very happy that I did it. I now I am. At first it was like, should I not? And there were so many people that were like, no, we want you to have a channel. Like, you should have a channel. You can't like just leave true crime in general. And I was like, well, I'll just like talk in chats and stuff. And I was like, no, I think I'll do the channel. And then we did the channel, and I was like, maybe I don't want to do the channel. Back and forth for a really long time. I actually had a live scheduled and canceled it. And then it was on Harmony Montgomery, and I canceled it. And I was like, I don't want to do it. And I can't do it. I'm done. I don't want to do this, because I knew all the back stuff was never going to go away, and it's hard.
Yeah,
it's hard because it's now part of your everyday life that you don't necessarily want, but it's there regardless. And so it's like you take the bad with the good. And I said this when you were on my channel. I'm not going to go too far into it because got me all emotional last time. I'm like, I don't want to do that again. But I happened to come into your chat that day, and you guys were like, you need to just do it. Like, get off your butt and do it. And I was like, you know what? They're right. I do need to get off my butt and do it. And I scheduled a live for that night, and I did it. And then here we are.
I am so proud of my little channel for that, because I just think that you have a lot to offer the community, like the true crime community. And I don't know, that makes me so happy. I could cry now even thinking about it. I just think that's awesome. But
I think it's kind of like people don't realize, like just being kind, because you're so kind, Allie. You're just so kind. And I think people could really learn that, like just being kind, and you probably would never have meant to even make any influence or think that you had any influence. Here, you're just being a nice person because that's who you are. And it changes what happens in somebody else's life. And that's what I think about all the time. We're just kind to each other. We don't know what's happening to somebody else. So we're just kind to each other. There's so many better things that can happen in life.
Yeah. A little bit of kindness goes a long way. You never know what like the grocery store clerk is going through or whatever, or you see some lady. I always try to compliment women especially the ones who don't seem as secure. I'll try to tell them like, hey, oh, I love your dress, or, something like that, just because I think that it could make a big difference in somebody's, in somebody's day. Hey, Rena.
Hey, Rena. And it's true. It is like, and hi, Brittany.
Hey, Brittany J.
But it is. Life is too short. It just really is, and you see that when you have parents that we talked about this before we came live. But parents that are getting older, and they're not necessarily well, and we don't want to lose them. Then it causes that stress, or then you have family and friends and things happening, and you just lost one of your friends from years ago, and so life is just too short, man. And Raina, I absolutely love your channel. I don't care if there's 2,000 people there or 5 people there. I think that you're delivering kindness, and just information, and just putting your story out there for people. And I appreciate it. I want you to know I appreciate it, because I think that that's what our world needs, is kindness. It sounds so stupid, but it's what we really lack.
Yep, we do. And it's stupid simple, but I think that that's the key. Everybody's always looking into things more, and sometimes that's just all it is. Now, Rena, I wanted to have her on to talk about dealing with a child with addiction, you to talk about dealing with a sibling, and one of my other very close friends to talk about dealing with a parent. I won't say it. If she wants to, then she can, but and she already agreed to do that. I think that would be such a special little series, the family series, because it's crazy, but people don't realize that how much addiction affects the family. I think it almost hurts them more than the addict, because they're sober through it, and they're the ones worrying, and you know what I mean? And the addict is, at least they're like not self-aware at all, or not aware of all of that. The family is up all night, the addict's passed out high, you know what I mean? That kind of thing. So I think that'd be really special. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah, I think that would be a good series. And I was thinking, when we were watching Raina's live, I don't, obviously, like my brother was an alcoholic. And ironically, it's his 2 daughters, my nieces, that ended up being addicts on alcohol and other substances. and so you see like a little bit of generational there, but you know, it affected me because it affected my mom, you know, so it's like there's a whole array of things, and I think it would be very beneficial, and I know that the people who need to hear it will hear it, and the ones who don't maybe can take something away and
yeah,
take it to a time that they may need it, because you don't know, you may need that stuff later in life that you won't, but you do.
Yeah, and then you think, oh my gosh, I heard this like years ago or whatever. Okay, let me ask you, if you could give, I usually do like a standard set of questions with the people I interview, but with you, it's a little different. Like I don't know. But I do want to ask you this one, which I always ask. If you could give anybody advice that wanted to do true crime or start a channel or something like that, or advice about YouTube and doing all of that, what would you say? Not to put you on the spot, I'm sorry.
That's a tough one. I'm gonna say, if I had to give advice to somebody who wanted to start off on YouTube, in true, does it have to be in the true crime community? Because I mean, that's gonna
no.
Advice, but just in general.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't have a huge channel, but like I said, it's not about. We're not like out there like pushing and promoting and trying to build it to something huge. It's just for us to have a place. So I'm gonna say, I'll go with what we know right now. The places that we are in our true crime, and then the Krama community has kind of come in and tried to pull some of us away. My advice to everybody would be to be kind to everybody and believe nothing. That would be my advice.
That is such good advice, because I see shit about me all the time that I didn't know till I saw it on YouTube. I'm like, dang, it's crazy.
I've learned a lot about what other people think of me. And there's, that saying that's like, what other people think of you isn't your business, or whatever it is.
Yeah.
And, YouTube, they kind of make it. You have to know. But no, I agree. I think that I've learned a lot about what people think of me. And I'm like, man, like nobody in my actual realm of my universe actually thinks those things. So
yeah, it's crazy. Well, no, people think a lot of you. A lot of people love you and think a lot of you. So don't forget that. Sometimes it's hard because we hear, negative things. I do the same thing, and they stick with us. But just remember, they're just really loud. There's not that many of them. People that are saying negative stuff.
Loud. They are really loud, and they're really derogatory, and for whatever reason that like draws a crowd. But for anybody that wants to get out of that, because I know there's so many people who get wrapped up in it but they don't actually want to be there. My advice to you would be to go where you want to go and create the environment you want to have, because they're going to live in that environment with or without you.
Yeah. Well, that's true. But and I mean, this is like, no matter who you are and you have people that don't like you, usually they are just they're so loud to you. I don't know if they're loud to everybody else. I guess depending on who they are, some of them can be quite loud, but you know what I mean? It was a general thing. I don't want anybody to see this and be like, oh, Allie was thinking. No.
I was thinking about me.
Yeah, just in general. When Zach was alive, I told Allie she helped me feel more positive and knowing recovery can last. I wish we had the chance to have Zach on like we had talked about. I know. I'm sorry, Raina. Me too.
But he's not gone, man. Like, she's got signs everywhere. Of anything I've ever seen of anybody who's had family or friends that have passed away, I've never seen the amount of signs that Raina has. And they're visible to anybody. Like, they're not
clear as day.
Yeah. She's like, I'm not crazy. I see this. I'm like, no, because if you're crazy, then I'm crazy because I see it too. Like, that's not, she can't hear me saying that, but that's what I'm saying as I'm watching it.
Yeah.
It's right there. There's a giant Z right there.
I could see it too. And you know what, Raina? He will be on with you. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? When you come on. This dog is driving me crazy. I'm going to have to move him. So hold on 1 second.
Okay, go ahead. All right, I'll look at chat because I haven't actually got to look at chat for a while. I'm on my phone, so like looking at chat and going back and forth is tough. Let me see. I've never heard or read anything bad about YouTube. Whatever, that's great. That means you are staying on the good side of the tubes. I won't hear bad things of either one of you because I would go off. Aww. My shark sister.
My shark sister.
I
So
should-
we like to subscribe. I'm a new subscriber, checking to see what you're talking about. Here you're talking about addiction, and that the person who with the addiction, not the only one that goes through that. Yep, absolutely.
Hi, KW.
Love you too. Thank you, Pink Dahlia. Okay, I got super behind. He was so active when he was here and still coming through that way. That's so crazy. You know, I've only ever seen one other like clear as day case of that. And my mom's brother passed away and his son was like 14 and he was down in the basement doing a Snapchat with his girlfriend, and he like takes a picture of himself, and in behind him you can see my uncle, his flannel shirt, his jeans, his bald head. I mean, it's like he's standing in the middle of the steps because he's like it's kind of transparent. It's crazy. It's clear as day. That made me know for sure that the people that pass, they come back to us. You still sound sick. You do sound a little bit sick.
I'm still sick. I don't know. It's just some type of chest infection, a sinus infection, or something. I'm so happy I had Teresa's link. I didn't know I subscribed right away. Hi, Brenda. Barb is here and wants me to bring on the dog because every time Barb sees me, she wants the dog. But the dog got a new bone today, Barb. Ursa, come here. I don't know if she will leave it to come and see it, Barb. Let me see if I can. Hi, Mia Moore. How are you feeling? I was just telling them that you weren't feeling good. Ursa, come here.
Oh, Rena, I can't wait to hear that. I'm so interested in that stuff. I believe in that stuff wholeheartedly. I do. So I'll be looking forward to see. Here, let's take this off so we can see the dog. Madeline. I'd love to see or feel a sign from my dad. 29 years in November. Oh, Marco. Maybe he'll come visit you. I hope so. Sometimes I feel like if we talk to them, like they can hear it. No, actually, I always feel like that. I believe they can hear us no matter where they are. I think that the afterlife spirits are just so advanced and so different that they can communicate differently. Like, think about this, like dogs. This is so weird, I know, but dogs, like, they communicate with each other without talking, without barking, anything. They kind of just look at each other and they know, right, exactly what I think that spirits do that too. I really do. Oh, no way, Pointer Lover. That's cool. She's amazing. A few times a year. Wow, that's super cool. He visits my mom in her dreams. Oh, that's
okay.
sweet.
The dogs had to get in a fight over the bone because I called one dog over. Here, hold on, let's see.
Oh,
Ursa.
Hey, buddy. He's cute.
She just took a big old drink and then here, close your eyes. Cut my mouth. Gosh, darn you.
Hey, puppy doggy.
Ursa, okay, you're not playing right. Yeah, that's she's only 6 months old. She's ginormous. She has one blue eye, one brown eye.
6 months old? Wow, that's a big old 6-month-old.
Yeah, and I need to like wash my face and.
Oh, CBK, that's so sweet. I'm sorry. I hope, I know some of this stuff can be, it's emotional. I've dealt with a lot of death and that's the one thing that I don't know how to deal with. I really don't. It's just, I don't know. It's hard. Hey, Rody gal. Okay, so I want to get into talking about true crime. I'm really interested to know, have you been watching this Justice for Vaughn stuff?
Okay, so I picked up on it on Brittany's channel. Actually, I had seen like a few other channels that I subscribed to, like I'd seen like their titles and stuff, but I hadn't actually like listened to anything to do with it. And then I hopped in her chat one night, and I hopped in later in the live. And I was so lost. I was like, what in the heck is happening right now? And they were like, oh no, girl, you're gonna have to go back. You're gonna have to watch from the beginning because like this is like there's a lot. This is complex. So now I've been watching it on her channel and she's doing amazing coverage of it. I'm at a loss. I'm at a loss for this chick and how there's not an open investigation on her for attempted murder. How there's no, his family has no access to him or his medical information.
Oh my God. I know. I've been starting to get into it a little bit too, but the bad thing is that it's becoming a circus where creators are fighting, and it's also one of those topics that I would love to talk about, but I don't want
to. So I can set my phone down.
Okay, I'm actually gonna turn that off for a second.
In the chat too. Okay, so if creators are fighting over, okay, because I've not watched anybody else's coverage of it. I've literally only watched Brittany's, so what I know is from her or from her sending me down the rabbit hole in Google. So I don't know anybody who's like, what's happening? Why are people fighting over this?
Okay,
I mean, it's obvious this dude is in a coma and the wife doesn't really care.
Oh, hold on, I don't know what I just did with my headphones.
Oh, okay.
I started playing like some kind of stuff. Whoa.
Hi, Candy's Cupcakes.
Okay.
Hi, Margot.
The background music's actually still on here. I didn't realize that until I got headphones on. So the creators fighting. Oh my God. I don't know the details because I didn't watch any of the fight, but I know that it's kind of like without a crystal ball. Molly Golightly had an issue without a crystal ball is the problem, is the way that I'm taking it. I think that she's been like acting very like she owns the case, like watermarking certain things, legal documents, just doing weird stuff. And people are, and it's been causing a lot of drama. And it's a shame too, because it starts to take away, kind of like how with Summer, or whatever. It just starts to take away from the case. But I don't know. It's hard because I guess I understand if there's somebody problematic. I don't know. To me, I feel like it's not my place to call out like the problematic people on YouTube. Or, but if it goes too far, like if somebody interferes with Summer's case, then I probably will. But because I would get like pissed, but most of the time I won't. But I think that that's kind of what's happening. The creators calling out other creators for problematic coverage of it, basically.
Well, we've had that with probably every big case that happens. As soon as it gets picked up by, more than a couple of creators or creators that are on the opposite sides of whatever anyway, then the beefing starts happening. So, Pink Dahlia, you're leaving. I just want to make sure I say goodbye to you. I hate to miss this, but I'm not doing well, so I'm going to go. I love y'all. Plus, this case kills me too close to home. Okay.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Well, we'll talk about other cases too. So if you want to take a break and come back, you can come back.
Yeah, I just kind of wanted to see if you were following it. I don't even know what to make of it. I hope that I think that sadly I think that he's brain dead, so I don't know that he'll be getting better. And I hope that if she caused it, then she pays for it.
Also, my biggest issue is that one of the kids now has had a seizure, and the dog has had a seizure.
Okay, I didn't know that. One of the kids has had a seizure?
Yeah, I don't know if Brittany's still in here because she would know way more than me. But yeah. It's definitely and she turned him onto this vegan diet where I think I'm supposed to say the words of what it is, so I think it gets creators in trouble. But where like there's certain elements that she's like introducing to like their diets that are like toxic, basically, or some are. They want to like classify, make them like Schedule 1 drugs. So
one of the daughters. What?
Yes, one of the daughters. So she has 2 kids from a previous relationship, and I think it's the same dad. And then they have 1 kid together. So I think she might be poisoning her whole family. I do, and at least from my understanding, CPS and stuff has now like gotten involved. But I don't know all the details. I have not covered it. I'm just watching I'm watching Brittany's coverage basically. So that's what I do know. It's weird though. It's a very weird situation. There was one time, I guess the guy was having a seizure and she was live and she just continued to go live.
Oh my God. Well, she kratom, I guess. She's doing a lot of natural meds, right? Kratom, kava, all these different, which just because it's natural doesn't mean it's better or healthy or not. Lots of things natural are dangerous. People get that misconception. Supplements can be dangerous too, and depending on what you're mixing it with. But if the chicken, the dog, and the child, she's either poisoning them all or one of these substances, like supplements, I mean, or oh wow. Hey Mimi Jean.
Mimi G, we could talk about summer too, but yeah, this is all fairly new. I know that there's been a couple channels that have been covering it. And Margaret, yeah, no, I agree. My sister's a vegetarian. That definitely has nothing to do with it. It's just that's how she introduced this lifestyle. Like they were going to become vegan or vegetarian, or I don't know which one she started with. But that's how she like introduced it to the family. Was like this is how they were going to start doing it. But then she's brought in some other outside stuff potentially that
Wow.
I don't know. But
Well, I know looking at her pictures from what she used to look like to what she looks like now is a huge difference. And she does this voice that drives me insane. She says like okay over and over when she's talking. I'm like, stop. I mean, cocaine is natural, so yeah.
Not all things natural are safe. Cocaine. It's just for offense.
It's crazy.
Yeah, it's a crazy case.
Yeah, it really, really is. Okay, so let's see. We can talk about summer for a few minutes. I would absolutely love if you really would come with me to Tennessee. I think that would be. I want to go. Pink Dahlia is wanting to come back too. I want to go. It would be so fun though if you would come. I want to look at the wells. I want to look at the mine shafts. I want to go to Jody Sue's house. There's a few things that I want to do. Yes, Link, she has a channel, I think maybe on YouTube. I know she does Facebook lives. I'm not for sure. Is it a
I don't even
YouTube
know where
channel?
because it almost looked like some of those were like even like old school like Periscope lives and stuff that people were playing, but I'm not sure where her main platform is anymore. If it's Facebook or
Right. Okay. Well, and not to jump around, but okay, if you could go to Tennessee, what would you do there?
oh, I want to see it. I want to see. I would do the exact drive and everything that she says she did. I would do it exactly the same way. And I just want to see it because this is something we talked about before too. Is when you see things like on like through cameras, even with pictures and stuff, you don't get the full understanding of how big the area is, or sometimes how small the area is.
Yeah.
T would have it solved already with her questions if Christine G, that's me, does it first.
Oh my gosh, that case, it drives me insane. There's so many different things to look at and to see. And it's like every person around them is so shady and there's, different aliases to look. It's just, I've never seen a case where every person is shady like this, like in a way that there's so many suspects. Okay. Have you seen what Tim Mullen put out about?
I saw your video. Yeah.
Okay. And then he has this problem with Chris McDonough, calling him an entertainer. He's saying a lot of stuff. So anyways, what I'm getting to is Chris McDonough mentions that he has 4 suspects: Dawn, Candace, Grandma, and one other one. I'm curious what your suspects would be, who you would choose. And if you had 4, who they would be.
I still haven't really changed my opinion on what I think happened at this point. So I think that Candace gave her away.
Right.
Potentially sold or just gave her away, one or the other. I'm not sure that I find another suspect. I don't even know if Don actually knows what happened.
That's what you said on your.
Yeah, I don't know if he actually even knows what happened, or if he's convinced that somebody did come and take her. I don't. The only other thing I could potentially would say is that there was an accident that they did try to cover up because they knew CPS was already all over them and they didn't want to lose the other kids. But I have such a problem with that because they've lost all their kids all their lives. Every kid they've ever had has been taken away from them at some point. and it doesn't really seem to change their lifestyle, or they don't seem to want to change in order to keep their children. So that doesn't seem like as big of a threat to me. Like, oh, like they're going to come and take our boys if something happened to Summer. I don't know. It's weird to me. I just think that I kind of feel like she gave her away. I feel like,
but do you think that like
the reason she didn't take the boys with her was supposed to be like, this is my last day with Summer, so I'm going to go spend it with her.
Oh, wow. That's an interesting thought. You didn't say that on your channel about her last day with her, but wow. Oh my God, that is crazy. So do you think that grandma would know? Would that be like, would she be someone that
Grandma probably knows? She would be the only one. If anybody else knows, it would be Grandma.
See, I just have a problem with I don't know, like Don, I go back and forth. I also think it's possible he couldn't know, but I have such a problem with Tim and him not, and maybe he's just not answering questions because no matter what he says, but it's kind of like you're the media manager. Now it's coming out. You've got your watermark on the church video of Summer running around in there. So did you film that video? And I wish he would answer questions. The fact that he doesn't, and he's still wanting to be on the case when mom doesn't want him. It's bizarre. I don't know. And maybe all of that is just
watermarking crap like that. That bothers me.
I don't like that either. So that's why I said in one of my videos, I was like, did you film this or did you steal it? And pretend like you filmed it. I mean, I don't know, one of the two, but I wish he would answer.
He didn't film it of Summer running around. It's from the church feed.
Do you know who was filming in the church though?
The church was not televised, but like on YouTube or whatever, they had their own feed.
Oh my God.
So the church the people at the very beginning of all this, people were watching the church feed. So they ended up taking it down because people on YouTube were streaming the actual church all the time so that they could get an idea of who the people were and what the players were.
Oh my God. So I totally missed that. I remember hearing in the beginning that like all the church videos are gone, but I just thought it was like recordings that had been put on YouTube that they took down because of like, oh, wow. So he is literally, hey, Amber, putting his watermark. Oh, what a freak. I just can't.
I find that kind of weird. But I mean, it seems to happen across true crime, so it's not a Tim thing. Many people, they get like the court docs or they get whatever and they watermark it. And I get the people want the credit. I get you want credit for putting the work in and that you're the one who went and did all and got all this or whatnot. I get that. I really do. But then on the flip side, it's like, it's not ours.
Yeah, like, I don't like it either.
The pictures aren't ours. Like, Candace sent the milk video and the milk picture. Those aren't watermarked. Those aren't watermarked. Like, people she sent them to, which was unmasked. You know what I mean? Like that's not something that, because it wasn't ours. We didn't take it.
Right. Yeah. Oh my gosh, that's crazy to think about. But you know what? I don't like that because, and I've talked to Amber a lot about this. Like, if it's something that is going to help possibly find her, help bring awareness, whatever, why is credit so important? You don't want it streamed. You want all your views. Like, you can truly see which creators care and which ones are all about the views and stuff when that happens. Because like, oh, I've seen creators interview and say, nobody streamed this for so long, like, because it's that, I don't know. And I get it, like you said, wanting the credit, but also it's kind of like, dude, it's a missing child case. We're supposed to share information and you know what I mean? And bring awareness.
So you have like the murder sheet with like Delphi, and they did a lot of work to get like some of this information that they got. And it's public, quote unquote, public documents, but they had to do all the requesting and everything else to get it. So then they stamp it. And I'm like, okay, I see that because nobody knows who, at that time, nobody really knew who they were. And so it's like, for people to even give them credit, people are like, oh, yeah, the murder sheet, like, who the hell are they? Like, who cares? So I kind of see that, and then I also see the flip side. So I do see both sides, but I don't know how somebody's going to watermark something that literally does not belong to them, and they really didn't do any work to get. Somebody handed it to them.
Yeah, that's just gross. Well, I think I've wondered if, like, let's say because the chances of Tim, I definitely think that Candace knows what happened. The chances of both her and Tim at the same time being responsible, is it possible? Yeah, but it's not likely. But I still have to wonder. And then I think, well, maybe either he's just holding on to this for the attention. I'm sure he's never got this kind of attention on his news, on his like media websites and different things like that. And also, is it possible that Candace would lie to cover up drug use? There's something that's not hurting Summer, not being involved, but still looks pretty bad. So she lies. So in my mind, I can almost explain away like every theory I have in other ways. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. I go crazy with it. I just can't.
Hi, Open Minds. Hi, Jax. So what do you think that Tim? You think that Tim just needs to answer some questions, or do you think that Tim has more information that he's not sharing? Or I mean, he's frustrated. What does he really have to do with it overall?
Well, I think that, okay, he has some questions to answer. I want to know why even Candace, so like Benny Keys came out, YouTuber comes out, says Tim Mullen was, he had Dawn's phone when Dawn went to jail. He got everything off of it at Dawn's request and then gave it back to Candace. And Benny Keys is like, I asked him to turn it into the police and they wouldn't, right? So I don't take it as fact. It's a YouTuber. And well, then Candace, when she does her video, her spokesperson does the video to ask him to stop doing the case, Candace says, I want Dawn's phone and all the contents from it. Why would Tim have an interest in not giving his phone to police, taking all the stuff off of it? You know what I mean? And then giving the phone back wiped clean. And what is his interest in that? Is he just like covering up an affair for Dawn? I don't know, but I don't like that. I feel like once that starts happening, there's issues. Everything, the police should have everything, and so there's some problems with that I have with them. And also the weird stuff. There's just weird stuff that he needs to answer, but he never will. I mean, I've even messaged him and he said, basically, if you have any questions, you can probably find the answers in my videos.
Okay, so my question then is, so the phone that Tim had was when Dawn was arrested and went to jail for the DUI.
Right. Yes.
But that's not the same phone then that Dawn
Well,
had.
we don't know because he had a lot of them. He had a few, so I don't know, I don't, and even if it wasn't at the time, what if it held, communications of some sort that would help find her or show who Dawn was dealing with as far as drug deals and, just ways that I just think that they should have to turn it in. So I don't know.
But didn't he say he did turn it in just after he wiped it?
He said that he gave it to Candace and their PIs after he wiped it. But Candace is demanding for the contents of the phone. So I don't know. I mean, like I said, it could be like maybe an affair or something. And Dawn's like, Tim's his buddy and he's helping out. But it's just weird to me. It's like, you're the media manager. What are you doing wiping the phones clean? Like, it's sketchy. So when like there's I don't know. That's just weird. So I feel like I don't want to be quiet about it. Say it again. I'm sorry.
What's his reason for saying that he wiped them clean?
I haven't heard an explanation from him.
Dawn allegedly liked the ladies of the evening.
Dawn allegedly liked the ladies of the evening, probably hiding that. Yeah, that is even when YouTubers went to visit him, they said that he would be like out for days with smoking crack and with whores and stuff. Like he was, yeah.
Yeah, but why did Tim clean up after Dawn unless Tim's going to get in trouble for whatever Dawn does have on there? Because cleaning up for Dawn either now has to owe him for a later thing, or Dawn had something on Tim that made Tim need to make sure that was gone.
Something, right? And it's just sketchy.
Well,
law enforcement doesn't.
They're like in a whole community of just sketchy. Like everything over there is sketchy.
I know. Sketchy. Yeah, you're right. It's sketchy town.
Anybody that's over there. I mean, you got Jody Sue who's saying that the husband was given the that was selling all these drugs and stuff, and then now she's saying that she didn't say that, and I'm like, it's so confusing. And
oh my God, that is so frustrating too. It's like, you know what? She's probably angry at him and just trying to get, I don't know, but it's like, you don't say something like that.
Yeah, she just gets pissed off at him and then says, you know, yeah, he was doing all this, and then she's like, crap, he really wasn't doing that, and I really shouldn't have said that. Or what? And now shouldn't have said that out loud. Still, I don't know. It's the whole thing. But once again, it's like you have so many people, and just kind of like we were talking about with Vaughn McRae, so many people are now involved, and now you have a kids case with Summer, and it starts to almost feel like kind of, you know, like there's an exploitation happening. But I know that the majority of people, because here's what Christine will always tell you, like, I'll err on the side of kindness every single time. I want to believe that people are inherently good. I do. I want to. So I'm going to say that most people think they're doing the right thing. They think they are, even though they very well may not.
I think that you're probably right with that. Sometimes they think that they're doing the wrong thing for the right reasons and things like that. Like, yeah. Now, I want to, okay, Carr says law enforcement doesn't need the actual phones though, right? Well, I guess it depends because, for one, like with the Watts case, there are ways that they can't get all the messages. You know, there's different, I don't know. So I don't know. I think that it would be helpful, especially if I don't know, a lot of times Apple doesn't want to give law enforcement stuff. It would just be helpful for them to have it. I'm sure that they could be able to get everything off of it without it.
Text messages and stuff like that without it. I don't know how that would work. Like a Celebrite dump you have to do that with the actual phone. Okay. I'm not sure. They could probably get like the phone data and like pings and such.
Yeah.
You know,
and maybe like who they messaged and what time, but not the contents of
it. I don't know that, and I also don't know if that would, if they could, that would vary by phone distributors. So
yeah, it probably does. Hey, Jordan.
To dig into, but forensically, I'm not sure that they could get that without actually having the phone. Unless you go to like Elon Musk, who's, you know, supposedly, you know, recording everything that we
ever do. Oh my gosh! Did you know?
Not going that far deep. I really don't. I don't believe that. So.
Well, did you know that? Well, I don't know if this is true, but I was just told this like 2 days ago that the car battery for the Tesla has more carbon emissions than a vehicle being ran for 100 years.
Oh, really?
That's what I was told. I don't know if it's true. I'd like to know, because then it's like,
Okay, Car 22956 says, I'm hard to understand. Am I hard to understand, you guys? Because I'm walking around, so maybe it's just me rubbing against the phone or something. So I want to make sure so I don't do that anymore.
I can hear you. Let's see what they say. But I have headphones on that when I didn't have them on, I couldn't hear the background music. So they're pretty loud. They're pretty good, you know. So
okay. Well, if you guys can't hear me, let me know, and I'll try to fix it. And then Infamous Truth Teller says, Dawn Wells' sister, the stepsister or half sister, she recorded a call with Dawn Wells, and he spoke about he's been around people in California that basically traffic children. It's a recorded call. I'm assuming we're talking about Mary, so that would be his ex stepsister, or no, it is his current stepsister. They're still married. And then she has quite a few recorded calls with him, and one of the things that they did talk about was that Dawn had tried to, this is what Mary has said, you can take it for what you want. Mary has said that that Dawn did try to trade his younger child, or older child, I'm going opposite, his oldest child when they were young, to a drug dealer for drugs.
Yeah. Now, you interviewed her too, right?
I interviewed her a few times, actually, Mary. Yes. And then her sister is Jeannie. And Jeannie has the daughter Trish. So
okay.
I know like Jeannie and Trish talked. I don't know if Jeannie ever actually went on, but I know Trish, so it would be Dawn's step-niece, has gone on with Tiffany.
Do you still talk to Mary?
We have text, like messaged and stuff, but like not nearly how we used to talk at all. I know she's very close with Chris, and I know she does a lot of shows with him now, and I don't cover the Summer Wells piece as much. So, we kind of just check on each other more than have any conversations about what's actually like going on with the case. I do know the last I did hear was that that Utah was having the open investigation and sending investigators there to talk to Don. And then I didn't actually ask her about how that went, but I did hear on YouTube that supposedly when he was in jail that the investigators from Utah did go talk to him. I don't know if that's true or not. I've never actually asked. I heard Jeannie once, but I think that was a recorded call that Jeannie had with Chris, and I think it was on Chris's channel.
Now, the recorded call was also their prank too. That was another one, right? And before I lose my thought, that'd be really cool if you could interview her again, especially like if he ends up getting arrested in Utah. If that ends up. Some are saying that he won't get out of jail at all, that he may get picked up by Utah. And if that was to happen, I'd be really interested in what she would say, but I don't know if she'd be able to talk about it.
I don't know. I'm sure she probably would talk about it anyway, but somebody asked if I believe her. Do I believe her? Yeah, her stories never changed to me personally. I've obviously not watched everything she's done on YouTube, so somebody might be like, well, she said this here and said that there. Her stories never changed to me, and yeah, I mean, I do. I believe that she's fairly honest. I don't know if I believe that this is now about Summer anymore, because there's this weird thing that happens when people get on YouTube and they get like this, and it happened with Candace and it happened with Dawn. They get on YouTube and they feel like this empowerment that like people want to listen to what they have to say, and it's like a sense of importance that sometimes people don't have in their regular life. So it becomes like they're almost exploiting the case, but it's not necessarily, because it's like a sense of importance that they don't actually normally have. So does that make them liars?
Yeah.
No, but it makes them say a lot of things that.
Wow, what a good point. Oh my God, that is such a good point. And it totally did happen with Dawn and Candace. Gladys, I just looked up that Apple will no longer unlock iPhones for the police. That is really interesting. I've heard they've had went back and forth with police in the past over stuff like that. Many law enforcement agencies and police departments have gotten methods to retrieve information from basically anyone.
Oh, Gladys, I believe that to be true. I'm just wondering if they can actually get like the contents, like say of a text message. Obviously, there's so many apps and stuff that people can use that are that delete everything very quickly. So I wonder about that too. But there's other apps like say if you're messaging on Messenger or Instagram, I think there's easy ways to access that information without having the actual phone in hand. But I'm talking about physical text messages. I don't know if you can actually get the text messages without the physical phone. But then somebody was talking about like a lot of stuff is up in the cloud now. And that's true. A lot of stuff is up in the cloud. But now you have to, I don't know. There's technology is so far advanced. There are a lot of things. I agree with Gladys. There's a lot of things that they can have access to. I just don't know if they can have access to everything.
Now, if they have a warrant, they must not have to get what? That's confusing, because wouldn't they have to? But obviously they're not. I don't know. I actually don't know. What do you know?
I don't know how iPhone could. Yeah, I don't know how iPhone's going to say they're not going to unlock a phone for somebody, because you're going to have the tech people that work for, the FBI that are just going to unlock it themselves. They're not going to be like, hey, Apple, can you unlock this for us? I don't know. That doesn't make any sense. You'd be impeding an investigation.
Well, what about on the cloud? What's on the cloud?
I don't know. I'll have to look into that, because that's interesting.
That is interesting. That's something with Candace's story that always, like, I can tell you right now, I lost service like 15 minutes before I got to her house. And she says that she used, her mom's phone to call 911. She called Dawn on Facebook, but yet her and Dawn talked the whole way home. That was part of the story that was like, huh? Her
and Dawn cannot have talked the whole way home if they're both on the phone with 911.
Yeah. And also, there is no signal there. There's no way they did. I'm telling you, they had to put in a cell phone tower. Do you remember during the search?
But what do you think about the fact that they won't release the 911 calls? What do you think is so important about the 911 calls that they wouldn't put that out to the public?
I don't know. I wish they would, but I don't know. Do you think that's interesting? Maybe it's because Candace didn't call.
Well, I think we've heard both have called, right?
Yeah.
Who
Yeah,
told us
that's what
this
they
information?
say. That them. That's all I've heard say it is them, and that I've always wondered if because why does Candace call Dawn before 911 and then Dawn says he calls? That's just weird to me. It's like don't you call 911 yourself? And then she ended up saying she did, but I have doubts in that. Just the way they said it, my intuition, I don't know. I could be totally wrong there. You know, it's my gut feeling. I'm not a psychic or anything, but and
Well, I
even
don't
if
know
I
because
was, I'm just saying.
the way the dispatchers are talking on the dispatch call, it does seem like they got two calls because they're saying like, you know, this person, the woman said this, but the man said this kind of thing, and I can't quote it because I haven't listened to it for a while. But I do remember them. I do remember it sounding like both had called because they were giving a little bit of conflicting information.
Oh, okay.
Uh,
See, now there's different versions of the dispatch out. There's like, first I saw a video of it and it was just like a minute, but then I saw there was like 15 minutes of it out there. So I don't know. I need to hear the full thing, but I don't know how long it is. Do you remember about how long it was?
I have no recollection of that information. I just remember the whole like she went for a walk jog thing. That's the biggest one that I remember was the walk and jog. And she's like, I don't jog anywhere. I don't run anywhere. I remember her saying that.
Yeah, they like, and actually, doesn't one of the dispatch say walk and one says, yeah, one says run. Now that's what we went through recently. That's when I found out there was more minutes I hadn't heard because I'd only heard the one part, the run part. And then when I found it on here the other day, I heard the walk part, and then it came after they said the running part or whatever.
I'm
Didn't they
more
say a
interested in
family?
why she would, if she literally said, she says she walked her to the house, told the boys to keep an eye on their sister, walked back to grandma's camper, fixed her knee brace, and then went back to the house and with 2 minutes. That was her. She was adamant. 2 minutes. 2 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
So if she was missing for 2 minutes, why did Candace get in her truck to drive? Why wouldn't you be hollering? I mean, it's 2 minutes. I'm not driving. I'm not going to leave this area. She's like, my 5-year-old can't get
Yes.
far in 2 minutes.
Something happened and she knew she could have gotten further than that. It had to have been a while is what I think. But also there's different stories. There's different versions of that. Chris McDonough says that the boys said they were playing hide and seek. And the news put out that the boys told police that Summer went outside.
Yeah, that she went outside from the basement. But how would they know that if they're in the kitchen?
I don't know. Yeah. And then, like I said, there was this hide and seek thing. But then I was told that there's a game that they would like on Hello Neighbor called hide and seek. And, Candace does mention the boys watch people play games.
Yeah,
So I don't know.
I think there's a longer span of time that she knew that there was definitely a chance that she got further away because we talked about this a little bit too. The timeline doesn't make sense from the time that even the time she says, because we've never actually gotten confirmation that it was at 3:09, that milk photo was at 3:09, the milk video was at 3:09, is what she has told us. But then she doesn't, there's a couple hours that go by, and we talked about this too. Like we were planting these flowers, and then you come to find out it's like a pot, and you sat the cactus, the cacti like plants on top of it. Like you don't really plant anything. And, there was like that wouldn't take 2 hours. So like, what else happens in this time frame? We unloaded the groceries. Well, as we can see, there's not like a ton of groceries. Then the grandma wants help planting the flowers. Okay, that takes a few minutes. Summer eats the piece of candy. Obviously, that's not going to take very long. 2 minutes that she helps grandma with the knee brace, and now she's gone. Well, what happens the rest of that time? What are they doing the rest of that time? And then supposedly later she's like, oh, I did laundry and this, that, and the other. Okay, when did she do laundry? Did she do laundry right when she got home? Did she do laundry after she fixed grandma's knee brace? Like, there's a reason she gets in her car to drive to find Summer instead of walking around the property, like or having the boys walk down to the shed and say, hey, is Summer down at the shed or is Summer over here? That doesn't happen until way later.
Absolutely. I agree with you. I believe there's a reason that she went in the car. And there's a theory that Hunter was at the house with them. Now, I know
I
this
don't
is
believe
one
that.
thing I don't
Hunter
think
was not
we
at the house
talked
with them.
about this.
I don't believe that.
I don't believe that either. There was a message that I think caused the confusion, but now it's come out that I think she was calling her hun, but it
Grandma
looks
called
like it said,
everybody hun. That
yeah,
was something
yeah,
that right at the very beginning, everybody was looking at that because it says Hun, Sum, and I.
yep.
Hun, Sum, Candace, and I think is what it says, or me, or whatever. And so everybody was like, "Oh my gosh, that's Hunter," but I don't believe it's Hunter because there's not a way for Hunter to have gotten back to his house, and he wouldn't have been there when the police were called. Because now you've got another whole round trip that would be easily accounted for, and that
Yeah.
would totally throw up
Well,
everything in the timeline.
well, it came up in the beginning, and then it came up again recently. Now,
Yeah, I don't know when it came up again recently. I saw that. I'm like, no.
that's
She
what
called
Wolfie
them,
said.
and she calls them HUN, exactly like that. She calls them HUN.
I know. I had a few actually emails that people were sending me screenshots of her calling other people hun.
Yeah.
Now I want to know what you think about. This is something I had not heard your opinion on. I'm really interested about Dawn showering with Summer and sleeping with Summer and the things that he said about that.
Okay.
And we heard it from a few people about him showering with her. That was from a few people.
We did. And okay, so Wolfie, first, yes, she told us 309, and then when she was asked to show us, first she was asked where she got the time, and she said she looked at the information from the photo, and we wanted a screenshot of that, and we never got that. So it was 309, according to Candace, and the video was an accident. She asked her mom to take a picture. She wanted her mom to take a picture of Summer's arm up, and her mom accidentally hit video instead. And then by the time that she was doing anything and got the actual picture, the arm was already down. So, but 309 once again is from Candace, straight from Candace, that the video and the photo were taken right then.
So when she would talk directly to you guys about some of this stuff, like you guys were right?
Yeah.
Oh,
right.
wow.
Right at the beginning. That was the first summer live I did was just right when she had gone missing. I think it was like that same very week, like that week. It was just kind of what we knew at the time. And then we ended up talking to Candace. She did not want to come on camera. She was adamant she didn't want to come on camera. So we gave her like a list of questions, and she answered all the questions. And then, but she didn't want screenshots out. So she asked for not to put the screenshots out. So hi, Rosalind. So I literally typed up like a PowerPoint of all the questions and all of her answers with all of her typos so that it was verbatim. And then I gave it to her and said, okay, is this okay? This is everything is okay to share. There was a couple things she asked me to take out, and one was sorry. One was about the young girls, because one of the questions had to do with, and I'd have to pull the questions up to tell you verbatim now, but one had to do with Allie's daughter, the older daughter, and what the whole falling out was. And according to Candace, the falling out was that True was dating a 12-year-old and didn't want her mom to know, but Candace said she wasn't going to lie for her, or vice versa, or something along those lines. But it had to do with a minor, the minor's relationship status. So we took that out, or I changed it to kind of cover it, but then put that in there. And then the other one had to do with when we were talking about if she had given Hunter alcohol that day, she said that she did not think it would be a big deal because Allie gave Hunter alcohol. So she asked us to take that out because she didn't want to talk crap about Allie.
Oh my God. Because she said publicly she didn't do it.
Yeah, I know.
Wow.
So, but it was, it is what it is.
Yeah, I mean, Allie, I believe that. I do believe her because Allie in her photos, I mean, you can see the plate on the table with the peel on it. I mean, you can see, trust me, that she had on that photo with the dog on the table with Hunter like bending over behind her. You know what I'm talking about? You see the plate on the table. That had a pill residue on it. She was doing that, right? And Hunter's right there. I mean, it's clear as day. And I've seen that. Those are the kind of homes, my friends that had parents like that that's what started my addiction. So I can see it clear as day, a million miles away. Now I'm curious about the daughter though, because isn't that the one Dawn said had a banging body or whatever?
Okay, I didn't know that. I don't know. I don't know if that's in reference to the same one. It's to Allie's older daughter, the one who had gone missing for like a day, and then they found her.
Yeah.
And remember at the beginning, like as everybody was doing research, like everybody had gone missing at one point or another.
Yeah.
So it was kind of interesting. But yes. Aaron says, wait, say that again. Which part?
And then if anybody remembers Dawn saying that, I think it was on shares, but it's been on replay. He says that she had like a body, like a banging body. I forget what he says. Like, man, she had a body on her. Like it was gross. It was true, I think, but I can't remember.
Just so I don't want to, because I don't want to give any like bad information. You know, I want to say what she actually said verbatim, so I can go pull it up and then I can give it to you, Allie, for the next time you do a summer live. So that way you can answer the questions on exactly what she said about giving Hunter the alcohol. Because like I said, I don't want to take this and taking it out to the world and being like, well, Theresa said such and such, and then I want it to be verbatim so you guys have exactly what happened. So I'll find it.
That would be awesome. Oh my God, I would love to see that. Even like, shoot, I'd love to just to see it. That'd be so cool.
I think that was at the time. I think that the daughter was a little older because there was a 12-year-old and a 14-year-old, or maybe she was 12 and the other one was 14. So I said I haven't looked at those messages for a very long time. That's why I want to be very clear. I don't want to misspeak.
Yeah. Well, that's okay. Just, I just tell people sometimes I'm clear if I know something for a fact, if it's hearsay, if I'm guessing opinion, and then, just don't take it to heart 100%. She's saying this. It's just, that's what she thinks
that's
she
how
remembers.
The conversation basically went, but I want to make sure you guys have it verbatim because like I said, I don't want to be anyone that causes more like chaos and when there's no chaos.
And confusion. Yeah, but dang, that is super interesting. She admitted it to you.
So she asked if we would take those things up because she didn't want to talk crap about Allie and she didn't want the stuff about the minors in there. So I think I like reworded it to something like they got in a fight about information that she had about the minor daughter or something like that. That's how I reworded it for the live. So we did that live. And then we ended up talking with Allie, Hunter's mom, and Allie's friend Leslie. That was right by 4th of July. And then after that, I think we talked to David Dotson, the mortician and the flute player. And then I talked to Mary a few times.
Oh my gosh. So I guess I missed the one with David Dotson because the only one I've seen is when his daughter does that interview.
David Dotson's daughter did an interview?
Yeah, on TikTok with this TikTok girl. I went through it on here, but yeah, I got the copy on here. I think I have the copy of it unlisted of the full interview. I could send it to you. I screen recorded it from TikTok and then uploaded it to my channel so that we could watch some of it like a long time ago. But yeah, it was some TikTok girl that covers the Summerwell case because they have there's creators over there that aren't on YouTube that are covering it too. So it's
you'll have to send me that. I don't think I've ever seen that. He kind of gave me the heebie-jeebies before I actually talked to him, and then he seemed like a very nice, down-to-earth kind of guy. He didn't seem like I interpreted him to be very weird throughout the beginning of the investigation, and I was kind of nervous about having the conversation with him. But after I talked to him, like before and like during and then after the live, he actually seemed very normal, like just trying to figure out like what the heck happened, and I think that he thought like, man, this girl's missing, and I can help. And then I think he realized that this is way too crazy and there's some bad stuff happening. And I think that's when he left. And I know people still are like, well, he was a mortician and he could have done this and that and the other. And of course, obviously they're not wrong. My gut feeling talking to him was that he was just an older dude who thought he was going to do something kind for somebody and got really swept into some crazy stuff, and that's why he got away. So
Oh, wow.
you guys can agree or not agree on it. How I feel about that. I'm okay with differing opinions, but I felt like he was just a normal dude.
That is so interesting. And you know what? I'm suspicious of him too. But when I saw his daughter, I may even said this in the video I did on it. She like calmed my suspicion, made him feel normal. I think the internet had like a lot of suspicion around him at the time, right? Am I remembering that right?
Oh yeah, no, and I did too. I was like, oh man, I don't know how I'm gonna feel about this because I was like, this. It was kind of weird because this random dude from church who was a mortician, who apparently at the time actually hadn't worked in over a year. So, but and then he like shows up at the house that night. Like, why does this guy show up? And then like a week later, he was like taking the kid, like the boys' miniature golfing.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I was kind of like, this is like really odd.
Odd. Yeah.
But then he like left. He like went he changed churches. He left. So people are like, that's super suspicious. And I'm like, I see why people think that. Can I be wrong? Absolutely. It was just, I could only go with what my gut said. And my gut, once I talked to the man, it was like, this is just like some guy who thought he was going to be able to do something and then realized that these people are flipping crazy, and he boned out.
Yeah, and now he's like, oh God, I gotta stay away from that mess. Thank you, by the way, Mia Moore Michelle. That is so sweet. Thank you. I wish I could see what super sticker it is because StreamYard doesn't show you what they look like. Okay, so I know we've been on here a while and I don't want to keep you too long, but I want to ask you about first, just like a couple quick questions about first, before I ask about Watts, what is the case that you have been the most connected to? Would it be Watts, or is it another case?
I would say that the case I was most connected to, like in my whole life.
Yeah, whole life.
Probably Casey Anthony. And Kaylee Anthony would probably be my biggest connection. I actually named my daughter Kaylee because I love that name.
Oh wow! And you guys that didn't see me on her channel, she's actually been to the where she was found and everything. So were you like watching Nancy Grace at the time, all the time, like every night at 8 o'clock? And
the first time watching Nancy Grace was with the Top Mom. It was then I was on maternity leave. I just had my oldest kid and was home healing and had whatever. And so I've always loved true crime. I went to, so a little backstory about me is that when I graduated high school, I actually went to college to be a homicide detective. I've always been into true crime. My dad's a retired cop. My uncle's a retired cop. They were actually partners. It's my mom's brother and my dad. That's how my mom and dad met.
What? How cool.
So my cousins are cops. I have lots of cops in my family. But my mom was a retail manager, so when I was in college, I had to get a summer job, so I could earn my own way, try to be an adult and crap. And so I ended up getting a job at Walmart in the Garden Center in Illinois, and somebody high above me liked me and thought I would do a good job, so they gave me a better job that wasn't just this seasonal Garden Center thing, and was like, you know what, you should be a manager. And so within like a year and a half, I was an assistant manager of Supercenter Walmart. And I made really good money, and I was 21 years old. So I was like, I don't need to go to school. That's dumb. I could make really good money with no college education.
Oh, wow.
So I spent 20 years in retail management. I ran Walmart.
Oh, my gosh.
I left Walmart to go to Toys R Us. I left Toys R Us to go to Home Depot. I left Home Depot to go to Jenny Craig.
Oh, my gosh. How cool. I didn't know any of this.
Yeah, so that's my history. I was a retail manager for a very long time. And then
but you were going to be a homicide detective.
I wanted to be a homicide detective. So it's weird because I wanted to follow my dad's footsteps, but then ultimately followed my mom's footsteps. And then
that's funny.
I quit doing that and decided to go back and follow my original plan in life. So I had my little one who's 5. And when I had him, I was like, I'm not working 60 hours a week anymore. I'm tired. I'm older. I don't want to do this. And I really hated management because, you have a boss that's going to, you get one boss that's really, really good, and then that person transfers away, and you get the next boss, and they're a giant prick, and your whole life is upturned. And I just was so tired of it. And I was like, no, I want to do something that I want to do. I never finished my college education, so it was like the one thing in my life that I was like, I never finished that. I'm gonna finish it, so that at least everything I've ever put my mind to, I can say I did it. So I went back, and now I was like, I'm just gonna get my associates and my forensics certificates and my minor in forensics, and I ended up getting like 4 smaller degrees, transferred to a Cal State, and now I'm working on my bachelor in criminology and with a minor in forensics, and applying for grad school to do forensic genetic genealogy.
Oh my God, that is so cool. And are you gonna like use this on your channel, or are you gonna try to go to work, or do you just want to have just so you have the knowledge?
I haven't figured all that out yet, Allie. I think probably a little bit of both. I love following true crime in general. You get wrapped up and you want to, you got to kind of see it through. I'm not sure if you're familiar with like forensic genetic genealogy, but it's such like a newer advancement in law enforcement that I feel like it's something that I could like get a job doing that, but it wouldn't take up my whole life. And even if it kind of did take up a good chunk of it, it falls right in line with what I do. So you could actually I could tell the stories when you're done with the case. Obviously, you could tell the stories online.
Wow, that is so interesting. You are accomplished. You've done a lot. You should be proud of yourself. That's a big deal.
Yeah,
it is. I'm serious.
So that brings me back. I don't know how we got there, but I was telling a story, and that's why I'm like, okay, this is kind of how that happened. But where was I going with that? You'd asked me a question.
Oh, yeah. I just asked what case you were the closest to, and you were talking about like how you got into Kaylee Anthony being a stay-at-home mom and kind of.
Sure. Thank you for bringing me back to what the actual conversation was. I had my oldest, and I was home on maternity leave, and she'd already gone missing by that point because he was born in August, and Kaylee had been already missing. So I was kind of just following the story, and I watched it unfold, and I was watching like everything, because Florida is a very open record state. So you guys don't know, like in Florida, you can actually get access to like all the interviews and like visitation, like from her parents and stuff. All that stuff was coming out because if they feel like if it's not going to impede the actual trial, they'll release it beforehand. So the information was already coming out. So I was like on my laptop watching and watching and watching, and then I remember when I turned on the TV and I saw them in the location where they ultimately ended up finding her, that I was like, that's her. They found her. And it's literally right down the street. It's right down the street from her parents' house.
How do you think they didn't find her sooner? They knew where she was.
Florida, it was all flooded in that area. I think that they probably walked right around her, if not on top of her. That the whole area is like I could send you the photos too. It's just like it's marsh, and you're on the East Coast, it's marsh, so it's like you may think you're feeling something, but you're not really sure what that is because it's all yuck under there, and it just
Oh my God, that is so crazy. So what do you think about what happened like ultimately at the trial and everything?
Oh, I think that I think the prosecutors screwed up their case, and it's a perfect example of how our justice system doesn't always do what's just. I'm not sure if there's anybody out there that actually thinks that she's innocent. I would love to hear from you if you actually do think she's innocent, because she killed her baby and kept her in the trunk of her car, and it's proven. But this is very early on in a lot of forensic things too, and so they had these forensic people take the stand, and they took the stand for hours and hours and hours, and they explained and they explained and they explained. They over-explained to the point that the normal person had no freaking clue what they were talking about. And so that information no longer mattered to the jury, when it was actually the most important information of the whole trial. But the delivery was so scientific and so boring, the jurors didn't care.
Oh my God. Now, what do you think about like what she did to her dad? Blaming him and like the way.
I think she's an absolute. Yeah, I don't believe that her dad ever did anything to her. I don't believe
I
her
don't
dad had
either.
anything to do with covering up anything that happened to Kaylee. I don't believe any of that. That man had a breakdown, a mental breakdown, and tried to kill himself afterward.
Yep, I believe that their grandparents are the people who love that baby.
I do, but I think you're looking at a very similar situation as you do with Watts. You're just looking at the female version of a Chris Watts. Cindy's very much like Cindy. I think the Cindys are very similar.
Oh, weird. They're both Cindys. I forgot about that. Now, do you think that Chris? Do you believe that he had help? Don't you,
Chris?
I
think he had. I believe other people knew. I don't think that he physically had help. Now, he may have physically had help prior to, but I don't think he physically had help the night of. I think he did everything other. But I think other people knew.
What about cleanup? Any possibility of help with that?
No, I don't think there was much. I don't think there was much of a cleanup.
A lot of people theorize that she was left at the house, and when he left that morning, and this and that. That's why I was asking.
I think that there was a lot of people that believe that, and I really have no issues with other people's opinions on cases. I don't take that personally if people agree with me or don't agree with me. I really don't, because we all have the same evidence that we're looking at overall, and we all come to our own interpretation of it. So, like, at the end, am I going to be like, "Oh, looky, ha ha ha, I was right"? Like, what am I winning? These people are all still gone. Like, nobody's getting anything in that. But I don't know, it feels kind of silly. Like, I'm totally okay with anybody else's opinion on what happened with Watts. I'm not mad at anybody if they think that she did it. That no matter, I don't. It doesn't affect me. These people are all still gone, and that's just my opinion of it. You ask me my opinion, I give you mine. You have a different one. I totally am okay with it.
That's how I am. I don't take offense by anybody disagreeing with me, or I like it because, like, I want to be challenged in what I think. I want my opinions and my theories to be strong and be as strong as possible. So I think it's good to disagree about some of this stuff. I do, though, with the people that had that theory, I could see why they got there ultimately because of the different system alerts, whatever you call that, and just like the phone, just a couple of different things. I could see why they got to that conclusion. I honestly don't even know what to think. I do think that she knew what was going on.
Other people that knew that he was going to kill his wife, and nobody knew he was going to kill his girls. And I think what everybody freaked out about was that the girls were gone. And that's where you saw everybody losing their minds afterward.
Yep. I believe you're probably right there.
I just think that the plan was to get rid of her. There's a few reasons I can say that I believe that. My main one, I don't know if it's the main one, but the big one is that you have all NK's shady as crap. I don't care. That woman, everybody's like, well, she didn't do anything illegal. It's like, she absolutely did a lot of stuff that was illegal, and she could have been arrested for interfering with an investigation, destruction of evidence. There's so many things that she could have been charged with. They didn't charge her, and so I don't care if people think she actually was a murderer or not. She actually did things that were illegal, and she did them with intent. And that's a whole nother story. But so she definitely she got away with something. I guess the difference is going to be on what extent people think she got away with something, because they proved she did illegal things. They told us she did. They just didn't arrest her for it because that wasn't the fish they were looking to fry that day. But the biggest thing is
totally
all the conversations about his apartment. He was looking for this apartment. He was going to get a 2-bedroom apartment. He's going to get a 2-bedroom apartment with the bunk beds for the girls, and he's going to live happily ever after, and so on and so forth. This is what he supposedly tells NK. This is what he supposedly tells his mom. This is what he supposedly tells his sister. This is his grand plan, right? Mm-hmm. Where's the baby? There's no baby.
Yeah. Well, he hid it from her.
Well, no, he doesn't plan a baby. So his parents know. His sister knows there's a baby. There's no baby in any of his plans. There's no baby because there's not going to be a baby.
Wow, I never even thought about that like that, but you're right. Everybody knows she's pregnant and expecting, even NK, because it's obviously on her Facebook, and we know that she knows, but Chris hides it from her, and he makes these plans, and yeah, you hear
Yeah.
about the girls, and oh my gosh.
And he tries to say like, "Oh, I didn't make the plans because it wasn't my kid and whatnot." I do not believe that. I do not believe that anybody ever believed that was not his kid. I don't fall down that hole. Um, if somebody else does, by all means, go ahead. But that was his kid. Everybody knew it was his kid. He knew it was his kid. They planned on having a kid. They talked about it. They tried. It worked. She came up pregnant, and there was a kid. So I think that when they found out it was a boy was when he was wishy-washy, and that's when he's doing this whole like, yes, I'll work on the marriage with you. And I think everything. This is the stressor, is that they find out that this baby is a boy, and he wants a boy, and NK wants to give him a boy. Then you have this whole Saturday night, and there's always that account that's on YouTube, and I don't know who it is, but it's like, you should have gone to the game, Chris. I love that name because he really should have just gone to the game.
Yes.
So I think that he's in this turmoil because now he's got Shanann that he has to figure out what he's going to do with her. He's got this now a baby boy that's on the way. He's got NK that he's not going to be able to get rid of. There's no way she's going to go. And she's not. If she goes, she's not going quietly. So what does he do? Which is the lesser of the two evils right there? And it's easier if the person who's going to be the worst, the nag, the one that's going to look at him and be disappointed and sad, and see that he's not the person he says he is going to be his wife. So he has to get rid of her because he can't let her see that he's not who he's pretended to be all these years. She's got to go.
Oh my God. Yeah. And I think that now, this is my opinion, and I guess, do you feel like he didn't plan on taking the girls' life and maybe something happened, like they did wake up or something like that, and it was just...
I think he planned it, but that's what he didn't tell anybody else.
Oh, wow.
I think he knew they all had to go.
So he knew all along.
There was no way he was going to be with NK and she was going to raise his girls.
No. Nope. Oh, my God. I always thought that maybe they did wake up and end up seeing him doing something. And, it seems like a plausible theory, but I couldn't see NK raising his girls. But then again, I could totally see her wanting to take the place of Shanann. And so I don't know.
Family. He wants the freedom because now there's no Shanann. So there's no 50-50 anything. There's you 100% taking care of two girls all by yourself. There's nobody else to help you. You're not moving back to because you've got NK who's out here. You just got this new fancy job. You're getting promoted at work. So, yeah, no, I just don't. That's my. Now,
how do you think? When do you think they met?
I think they met when Chris thinks they met. I think she knew of him sooner.
Okay. I've always wondered. I know that she knew of him sooner. I've always wondered, Sherilyn had her story, this whole other story, but that's not what made me curious if he knew her sooner. It was more the other things that tied back together, like the hospital, the children's hospital, and the athletic thing, what do you call that event that she was pictured doing?
She was in the oil industry. They all kind of knew each other. I'm sure they'd run into each other at times. I'm sure that I've speculated that there is a connection between Troy McCoy and NK that we're not aware of, and that's how she knew of him. Like she knew of Chris, and I think that she wanted him. I think she knew of both of them, but she just wanted Chris.
And do you think she was watching Shanann on Facebook and kind of figuring out about them? I do too.
She absolutely was. She was watching every move that he made so she could become exactly what he wanted her to be.
Yes, and that's why she was into the car museums and she was that guy's girl. Oh my God.
Well, I think she was always a tomboy, so it was probably pretty easy. But I think that she learned all the things that he wanted her, that he liked. She became that. Yeah, I think she's creepier than crap. I think that she's definitely She's more than a catalyst in my opinion, but she intentionally went in. She wanted to win. She's one of those people, and I think probably at least all of us women have somebody we've known in our lives that they don't care about the destruction. They care about the win or the fact that it makes them feel like they're better than other people. And
Yep.
and certain people feel better, or I would say, how to say it correctly. Somebody told me like an analogy a long time ago, like you want to be the tallest skyscraper. So you work from the ground up and you build and you build and you build and you build and you become the tallest skyscraper, right? Or do you go into this city and you tear down everybody else's building and then you build your tiny little building, but now you have the tallest skyscraper because you got rid of everybody else.
Yeah.
There are people that destroy everything around them so that they can feel better without having to work harder.
Wow, that's a good analogy. That really makes you visualize it. Yeah, I just can't stand people like that. I don't get it. I don't get it. Why
That's
not just
NK is. NK is that person who wants to just destroy anything so she can feel like she's got some value instead of just giving herself value.
Yep, absolutely. And she like won because she was able to take Shanann's man in her head. That made her like feel better then. You know what I mean? And like, just okay. I wanted to
It's actually
there's two comments.
I was watching a video on psychology the other day because one of the other things that when I went back to school, I decided to get a minor in psychology as well. So I have a certificate with psychology, and so I enjoy watching a lot of the psychological stuff on channels, TV, YouTube, whatnot. And one of the things that came up on one of the videos was talking about what happens when men are stuck between two women, and it states that men will always choose the weaker woman because they know that the stronger woman will hold them accountable for everything that they did, and the weaker-minded one will just allow them to be whatever crap person that they are. Basically.
Oh my God. And that is so true. And
women, they will choose the weaker one because it's easier for them.
They don't want to hear it. They don't want to hear the other woman tell them everything they did wrong. Oh, wow. That's crazy. That's
so it makes
super
you think of like
interesting.
the NK Shanann thing. Like he chose NK because she's the weaker one, and he knew that he was going to have to show who he was to Shanann.
Yep, absolutely. Oh, wow. That's crazy. I love psychology too. It's interesting to figure out why we do the things we do and kind of, yeah. Two comments I want you to see. One, Jen Lou says, that's why I call her the cleanup woman.
I apologize to everybody in chat. I've just been like, I'm on the phone. I apologize.
Well, Jen says, that's why I call her the cleanup woman. She became the antithesis of Shanann. And I thought that was a good one. And then Muffin Top, this one on the screen. Have you seen, because I've seen those autopsies that they say are the girls with the burn marks on the face. Have you seen those? And what do you think of that? Do you think that those are actually theirs? Or do you think...
In the autopsy of the girls, allegedly chloroform was used. Is that something that came out later? Because I don't think I've ever understood. I know that we've discussed chloroform, but I don't remember it actually being in any autopsy. Am I
No,
mistaken?
it wasn't. No, it wasn't. But there was later. There were these autopsies that have circled around that are said to be from the girls, and I've even had like Watts creators that are like and viewers that are like friends of the family tell me that they were, but on their faces they had chemical burn. I didn't see anything about chloroform, but that's probably where that comes from. And I don't know if they're actually even legit because of the way that things all happened. We didn't get any of that until so but yeah, I'll have to send that to you, Theresa. Dave G sent it to me, and
I don't watch anything really to do with Watts anymore. I know it sounds kind of silly, but it's like I feel like we were in it for so long and we were in it so deep that it's kind of it was almost overwhelming. And then I kind of came to like a conclusion on my own, like of what I think happened that was enough to have to like justify leaving the case until something else actually came out, like if there was anything new that actually came out, because I could not continue to dwell in the exact same things I looked at for I mean, I started following that case when it happened. I watched his news interview. I joined Facebook groups immediately. You know,
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
I have so many spreadsheets, so many checklists, and so many timelines on that case, just that case alone. Yeah.
Oh, well, I think that you get to a point where like you start to almost like see the kids in your dreams and things like that to where like it's starting to eat you alive. That's almost how I felt. And I wasn't researching at the time. I was just a viewer. I had my TikTok channel and I made a couple of videos when the documentary came out, which was like a couple months after I started my TikTok. But when the case happened, I was really just a viewer of YouTube. So I didn't like do as deep of research, but now like on the other side, I could see how because it already, even just being a viewer, I swear I felt like I knew the kids and like they were, like I was like seeing them when I'd close my eyes sometimes. Like it just.
Absolutely. I still see Bella and Cece. Like they're like they're like, it's such a weird case. It is one of those, like you asked like earlier, like which cases like stick with you. I would say Kaylee Anthony was probably the first one that really stuck with me, but Watts obviously I think will stick with many of us for a long time. I see those little girls. I picture what like Nico would have looked like, like, and you could see like this other version of if he hadn't done this, like how life would be for them and what, and she'd be out there doing her, her Facebook thing and selling her Thrive and whatnot. You know what I mean? You can just kind of see that, like, that's how it would be still. And that's devastating. It's devastating.
Yeah, it is. And I think especially when it's like okay, Dawn and Candace, like even theirs is people are so stuck on it, but you see these people who are like drug addicts, their home is like nasty as hell and they're just like, I don't know, to see it coming from like someone like Chris, who everyone around them is like, whoa, he was the one who was always playing with the kids and doing everything for his family. And I just think that brings another.
I disagree with that because she's the one that's videotaping him doing all the things with the kids. She's not always videotaping herself doing all the things with the kids. You're a mom. Look in your phone and tell me how many pictures you have with you doing stuff with your kids.
That's a good point.
Other people doing stuff with their kids. You know what I mean?
That's a good point. Yeah.
The pictures. I can tell you how many times we go places. I'm not in any of our quote unquote family pictures because I'm the one taking them. It's my husband and my kids.
Yeah. That's a really good point. Well, still though,
like, no, we were both there. I swear, we were both there.
I was doing it too. I swear. But no, I just mean like people were so surprised. They're like, wow, like they said that he would like play with the kids at the adult parties and stuff. And he would like, just like he was a good dad. He was an active dad. He was doing his dad thing.
I don't think he liked people. I don't think he liked being around all those people. I don't think he liked her Thrive friends. I don't think he liked all that crap. So it was easier for him.
You think he was more comfortable with the kids?
Yeah.
Wow. Yep. Who isn't? I'm even more comfortable with the kids than all the adults.
So judgy all the time. They're more fun, and you're not like trying. You don't have to like put on this facade of like, oh, look at me, I'm having so much fun. I can't stand. You know what I mean? Like it's just like, all right, I'll just go. It's way easier.
It's easy, effortless. Yeah, that's probably why he did do that. He didn't want to be around all the stuff. I don't know. It's crazy. I think though that when you see like normal people, your everyday person, it can be a little more like shocking or jolting to somebody. For me, I don't know. It's so tragic either way. But I look at these cases with like Summer and Harmony, and like it's like there were so many times that CPS or somebody could have stepped in and saved them, and then you have the cases where it's like nobody sees it coming. It's crazy.
Yep. I think that if people were paying attention, I think people probably would have seen it coming. I think Shanann saw it coming.
Ooh, yeah. Well,
she was afraid to go home. Why was she afraid to go home? Because she was afraid of. She wasn't sure. I don't think she knew that she was going to die. And I don't mean it like that. She knew everything in her life was wrong. Something was wrong, and she didn't know what it was and didn't know how to fix it. That's a terrible feeling. Because now you're trying to fix crap that you're not even sure it's broken. You're just trying to fix anything just to fix it so that things can go back to normal because you're so upside down. And now you're pregnant. Like, talk about, like, life is...
Oh, my God. That picture of her...
Crazy.
where that photo of her where she had been crying, and I think she's in the car, and you can just see it in her face. She's just like wore down completely. Oh my God, that is so heartbreaking.
I think he broke her mentally and emotionally. Oh yeah, I think she was broken, and I think some of her stuff comes off kind of crazy because I think that she probably felt very crazy at that point. Because she couldn't just be honest with her and tell her.
Why does Theresa think he pled guilty so fast so there wouldn't be a trial? What are your thoughts?
I don't think he wanted anybody to know he killed the kids, especially his dad. I think that he wanted to be able to take the, I'm just going to take the blame. It's my fault. It's my responsibility. I cheated, and none of this would have happened if I hadn't cheated. So that's why it's my fault. But he let his family believe that she killed the girls for how long? And I'm sure that he's still probably questioning it at this point. I don't talk to them anymore, so I don't know. But I think that he didn't want anybody to know. And I think they had enough proof that he did everything that a trial would have proved it to everybody. And then he would not be, because you remember he would say the weird crap, Allie. He would say, I don't understand why everybody thinks I'm a monster. Like, you don't understand that?
Yeah.
You're confused?
Like, I think that you're right. And you know what that reminds me of? Brian Laundrie. Like, he cannot admit what he's done. He's so, I don't know, is it ego or I don't know.
It's the mommy issues.
The mommy issues. Oh my God, you said that before.
They're this, that, and the other. Everybody else is bad. They're good. And now if I have to go and tell them that I actually screwed up and I'm the one who did something wrong, they're going to realize I was always the bad one. It was always me that was bad.
You know what? You pointed out the similarities between the mommy things when I came on your channel. So that's really interesting. It comes back to that, oh, that's crazy.
Well, I think we'll probably see a lot of them. Or I think we'll see a lot of them that are very similar to each other when it comes to like the kind of cases that we cover. You have this weird generational abuse that takes place, this weird generational trauma. And, in the Watts case, Cindy Anthony's mom was a narcissist, and Cindy Watts' mom was a narcissist. And she tells you she was, her mom was a narcissist. They tell you how strict she was, but she coddled Chris for whatever reason. Yeah, there's weird things like that. And then you have like Dawn Wells, and you look at the generational trauma in that case. Candace, that's the same thing. Like the family is generationally messed up. That's how you end up having these multiple missing people in the same family, because there's so much trauma that they're living a traumatic lifestyle. They can't get out of the cycle. I think you see the same. Brian Laundrie, same thing. Parents, like, look, literally, he did not need to be accountable for anything. Whatever happened had to have been her fault, and it's okay. We'll fix it.
Oh, that is so sad when you think about it. It's like they're destined for something tragic to happen because of the constant, like, trauma and sadness. And it's crazy. Good night, Wolfie. I'm actually probably going to wrap this up because we've been on here a couple of hours. It was so fun. Thank you for coming. And I hope that you'll come back.
I love talking to you. And I'm sorry I should have done it on my computer so I could have done a better job with paying attention to chat and talking. Next time I will make sure to do that, because I really screwed up with the whole chat. If you guys were asking me questions, I couldn't even see the chat half the time. So,
well, it is hard on the phone. You can't really do both. So I totally understand. If you've been on StreamYard, you get it when you've been on that side. But yeah, I love it. It's so easy with you. I just feel like just so easy. You talk about it, effortless and just fun. So I really appreciated it. And I know, look, this was great. I know they did too. I know everybody enjoyed it.
Oh, you guys are very good. Thank you so much.
And if you guys haven't subscribed over there, definitely go over there and subscribe. She talks about the same kind of cases. We didn't even get into Dylan Rounds, which maybe we can come back. When you come back, we can talk about a few more and ask if you can go to Tennessee.
I do. I want to go to Tennessee. I want to see it. I try to see it through like your mind, because I know that like you're describing it in the details that I know, like how you saw it and like how you felt when you were there, because it's such a different thing to actually visit the places, and you can see the size of things, and you just don't get to see that. No matter how they're recording or what's happening, you just have such a better view. And I want to go see summer stuff. And Um, and I'm not opposed to wearing some hiking shoes and heading out there and looking around.
I think that'd be awesome. And just having another brain, like in your brain, would be so fun during that, to think of the places that we could go. And just, I don't know, I just think it'd be interesting. I really would love to see Jody Sue in person. It was weird seeing Hunter and Allie. Like, it was just weird. um and with you interviewing them, they probably would have talked to you though, because she was rude as hell to me. She
Oh, was she
she did
really?
not want
I've
me.
not talked to
Oh my
Allie. I've
God,
not
yes.
talked to Allie, for a long time. We talked a little bit after the interview because we were going to do another interview because my Wi-Fi had cut off, and for whatever reason, I was like, I don't know, like otherworldly that made it so I could not get back into that live stream. So I never got to finish actually talking to her. So we were going to do another one, and then everything kind of got weird when like I was accused of paying her $400 for an interview, and I was like, dude, I don't even have $400 to be throwing around stuff. I'm like, what? And she's probably
For
going to done it for a
interviews.
past. Like, why do I need to pay 400? Like, where did $400 come from? I'm not sure where the number even came from. I've never paid anybody for anything like that. But so then everything got kind of weird, and so we talked to like in a group one time, like telling everybody. She's like, "No, I didn't get paid." I'm like, "Nope, I didn't pay her," and then that was it. And then she wasn't going to talk anymore at all. And then I saw her not that long ago, actually, probably just a few months ago, popping up on like prayer gardens and stuff like that. And I've never reached back out because, like I said, I don't really cover Summer's case anymore. It's hard because you get so much like inner fighting between creators that think they know everything, or that I'm right, you're wrong, and it's like we don't know anything. Like,
Yep.
we neither of us know anything. You know what I mean? Like we all know everything. So
And nobody owns the case. Like, no,
nobody
it's not
owns
your
it.
case.
It got so messy, and then I struggle when so many people cover it that I can't
Yeah.
keep track of where everybody is and what's happening. And it gets too much because I don't get to watch YouTube that much, you know. And then
Yeah.
you lose where you're at with everything, and then you're like, okay, now I'm like weeks behind on what's happening. That same thing's happening with Dylan Rounds right now. Like there's so many
Yeah.
channels covering it. I try to go to the ones that, obviously my girls, ATS and CDT, they cover it. I love that. But like the outside ones that aren't like, my friends or whatnot, it's hard to keep track of who's covering it and what they're talking about and who they're talking to. It's just too much.
Yep. And now that Vaughn case is the justice for Vaughn, I'm trying to like at least keep up a little bit and know what's going on. And it's impossible. It really is. April, the mods have been dropping it. Can you guys drop, it's in the description, but also they'll probably drop it at the end here in just right now. Thank you guys too. Thank you to my mods. I appreciate you guys.
I appreciate that you did it, but people do, like, mainstream media does pay for it. Well, for sure they do. But I also feel like in a circumstance, like for me personally, if I had paid for it, I felt like I would have been paying for like a narrative. Like it would have made somebody have to do or say what I wanted them to say. And I don't want that either. I just want them to be able to talk. Allie and I had not spoken like face to like, or I should say face to face on the phone, nothing like that. We had not spoken prior to that interview. So everything you saw in the interview was just us having a conversation like right now. So there was no like, here's your questions beforehand, and this is what I'm going to ask you. Like none of that ever happened. So I think for me, like paying for it would suggest that I was asking for specific information versus just having the conversation, which is what I wanted to have. Does that make sense?
Yeah, yep, it definitely does. I've had one person that I've interviewed ask if they could have half the super chats, and I told him, yeah, of course. But yeah, so I don't know. It's kind of awkward. Yeah, it's just
A lot
awkward.
of times
But
people
this
want
wasn't.
they're like, oh yeah, especially like for bigger cases, they'll ask for money, and I'm like, oh yeah, no, thank you.
That's crazy. See, I seen somebody in Summer's case. I think it was Jackie Dobbs recently. He demanded a certain amount of money, but he wanted it donated to a missing children's fund. So that was at least a little okay. Thank you, Jen, so
Yeah,
much. I really appreciate it.
I'm sorry, like, but some of like YouTube isn't like the end all be all of income, you know.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I
It's
really
crazy. That's what
feel
they
how to
all,
pay everybody
everybody,
else money.
Well, that's what it's turned into, and it's sick because also like the money that I don't know. It's like I think it's good to make a little money, and when you get super chats and stuff, that's good. But sometimes you see just all these, and I'm not saying that doing a fundraiser is bad either. I think that it's okay, but it's just overdone on here, and
I
it's
think,
so
yeah, I
much
think
that
doing
it's
a fundraiser for a cause is good. They did the fundraisers. Who was it? At the very beginning, I know that Cher did one, and Mark shaved his beard when they raised
yeah,
money for her. Like I like that.
yeah.
That's like for a cause. I'm totally good with that. I do struggle like putting like a self fundraiser, but I also understand sometimes this is what we're doing. This is the income for a lot of people, and sometimes you need some help, and that brings your community part together. Because I know if I can help, I absolutely will.
Right. Yeah, I'm the same. I think I'm okay with it. I just think that it's overdone, and I don't like
Mhm.
when you start to see creators that expect it. You
Oh
know what
yeah.
I mean? And it's like
Oh
I
yeah. I
don't
know
like that.
exactly
I
what you
just
mean.
yeah. I appreciate you, Jen. I appreciate all you guys. I really, really do.
I love your chat. That's why I'm like, we could do this all night because I do your chat so cool. You have great people. You have great mods. I love your people here. Love you. It's
I
such a
know
good
I love
environment.
having
You've
you
done a
here.
great job. Great job. And
Thank
I'll tell you,
you.
I was one at the very beginning who was like, oh, this girl's going with Kato trying to build a channel. Not sure how it's going to work out. But I'm telling you right now, I'm so proud of you. You've done amazing.
Oh, thank you. Oh my God. Yeah. Well, I went into that. I told you today on the phone, like it was supposed to be like a group, just like a live chat, chit chat between like 4 or 5 women. And then, and I was just gonna do it on my channel because I already had a channel. I was putting TikToks on. Well, then once things got a little crazy, I was like, I cannot be a part of this. I just want to talk true crime and do like, I don't want to, this is too much.
Yeah. But you did. You came out of it and look at what you do now. You cover all these different cases. You do a great job. You have very kind followers and subscribers and people in your chat. And it's amazing. I think that's great.
Well, thank you so much. Well, I hope to have you back soon. I think that we could do a lot of really fun, awesome stuff together. I really, really do. I'm excited.
Yeah, me
Um,
too.
yeah,
So,
and then you
Calvin,
guys, you guys, if you're not subscribed over there, definitely go subscribe. And then yeah, I'll see you guys soon.
yes,
I
you
don't know
will.
when, but it'll be soon.
I know. We'll see you
Okay.
soon. I know there's going to be something happening with Tim. You're going to have to go live. Tell
Yeah.
us.
It's 11:11. Today I
All
had
right,
to
everybody make
afterwards I
it
got off
11:11.
after I got off today and I thought, well, you know what? Uh, I kind of went too hard at him, and I'm like, I just need a break from this. I got to go live on a couple cases before I come back to it. I'm wanting to go through Candace's like Facebook post. I was doing that on my own, and let me tell you, it's very interesting just seeing like what her mind. She posts a lot. She's constantly doing little memes and things like that every day. So it's
New
really
one now, right?
interesting.
She have a new Facebook
Well,
now?
she's got yeah, she does actually, and I she's not posting on it that much like she was back then before Summer went missing. But on the new one, it is that she's in a new area.
Do we know? Did she end? Last I heard, she was like in Arkansas or something. Is that still
No,
true?
this is well, her Facebook says she's in Tennessee somewhere in a different, just not
Uh,
too far from.
and
I
did you
looked
think that
and I
she's
think it
supposed
was
to be
like
coming to California to go to some rehab place out here?
say the first part you went kind of robotic at the first
Sorry,
part
that
of the
he that
sentence.
he's supposedly coming to California to go to some rehab.
Yeah, so Dawn, okay, that's what they were saying, but then a YouTuber called that rehab and asked, like, do you have a patient coming? I don't even know how that they were able to tell him, but they played the recording and they said currently they do not have that set up or scheduled, but it doesn't mean that it's not going to happen. So I
Hmm.
don't know. I think that we don't know for sure anything about that. To like, I don't know. There's so many rumors. Some say that, some say he's going to Utah. Like they're waiting on him. So I don't know. I think we just got to wait and see, I guess.
So
With
that's not very far from me, but I think that you have to be related to be able to visit him. If he does end up there, you have to. It's like Sundays only, and you have to be a relative. But it's not
oh
very
my
far from me at all.
Wouldn't it be so cool if you could actually visit him? And I just think that'd be super. I would love to pick his brain when he gets out, because when he went in, Candace was not going on YouTube. She was pissed off at him for always going on there. Then he goes in and she's on there every night. And I just think I want to know what he thinks about all that. I really, really do.
I'd love to go talk to the guy, but I don't know how to pull off that I'm related to him.
Yeah. Hey, you could, I mean, shit, what if like, say his sister goes off and gets married, or a half sister? I mean, you can't always prove all of that. I don't know.
I don't know. I don't want to get in trouble for it either, but I'd totally go see him.
Yeah, it could be possible, but yeah, it sucks that they have to be related. That's kind of dumb, but I guess. I heard that the other day. I don't know if you were in there. I don't think you were in my live when we talked about it. Candace has 25 days clean today.
Wait, what? According to who?
A friend of hers that did an interview on this channel. I could send you the link, but the girl says that she's with somebody that's been trying to keep her off of YouTube and stuff like that. Basically, these are my words. So, but yes, that she's like 25 days sober. And yesterday it was like 23 whenever the interview, and I think it's around 25.
Wow.
Now.
Yeah, send me that. I want to hear it. I don't know if I believe it, but I want to hear it.
I know, that's how I am. I don't believe, but I want to hear everything, because I want to compare to what this person said or that person said, or, and if a couple people start to have the same stories, then I'll start to kind of, but I'm hopeful that this is true, because she's offline, and it makes me think she's not, if she's getting drunk, then she's all over YouTube, right? But when you're going through that, getting sober, you are not going to be. So I hope and pray that she is, and I hope that that's what we hear. And
I don't know I would have gone to her though to make that happen, and I just don't know if she. I don't know, because they have to want to do it, and I just don't know if she. I'd be interested to hear that.
Now I was thinking I wouldn't think she'd be getting the boys back, would you?
Well, I think if she was clean and sober, she very well could get the boys back, but she'd have to have a place for them to go that was safe. If they actually see, they always say like we're going to end up talking more, but they always say, like the officers always say, or the law enforcement always says, there's no signs of an abduction, but there's no signs of life, there's no signs of death either. So can they actually say that she's a suspect in the disappearance? Do they say that? Because I think at this point, everybody's still a suspect in the disappearance, because they can't prove anything about anything. So can they legally keep the kids from her if she does the required thing? Because that's a different court. But then the FBI could, I don't know. I think she could. If she's actually cleaning up her act and was sober and actually had a safe place for them, I think that there's a chance she could get the boys back. But I don't see that happening.
If she was capable of jumping through the hoops that they're going to make her do it. But, I just wonder, because it's like, I would think that they could be charged with neglect if they wanted to push it. You know what I mean? They've not taken the best care of them. So I don't know. I guess, though, you see people all the time that lose their kids.
Candace is living in Dandridge, Tennessee.
Dandridge, yep, that's what I heard too.
Well, who lives there that would house her?
I don't know. It may be that spokesperson. That's asking Tim to back off that a few weeks ago, because the reason I think that is because before Ernie Shell went offline, he had a phone call with her recorded. And in the phone call, she's kind of drunk, and you hear someone in the background that's like, "What are you doing?" And she's like, "I'm talking to Ernie." And they're like, "Why? Stay off of you, basically. You need to stay off of there. Like, this is not helping you." So the fact that she's staying off there makes me think, and it was that girl, the spokesperson. It was around the time that all that happened with Tim Mullen and the phones. So I'm wondering if she's not with her, and because she's obviously with somebody who, instead of saying, like, fuel her desire to do the things she does, is saying, this is not a good idea. Don't go on YouTube. Somebody who's trying to give her a little bit of good advice, at least.
Yeah. I wonder. All right, send me that. I want to listen to it.
Okay, I definitely will. And Jen, I hope and pray that the boys do speak. I think the kids probably hold a lot of information. I really do.
April C says, it's so peaceful here. I wish everyone could experience this.
Thank you, April. You are the sweetest. Okay, Theresa, I talked to you forever and ever, so I'll let you go. It's 11:30 here.
Probably don't bring up anything else. Just say goodbye. Thank you, everybody.
Okay.
Keep going.
I know. Okay. Well, I'll talk to you tomorrow or something, and you have a good night. And thank you so much for coming.
Thank you. All right, we'll talk soon.
Okay, bye, Theresa. Bye, chat. Bye, mods. Thank you guys so much. I love you guys. 2 pieces. Oh, low-key, this reminds me of the time Carl from Shameless ran a rehab in his basement. Well, it might be something similar. Love you guys. See you soon. Bye.